Hey chap, not sure if this will show up on the video, but I've had to cut a slot in this old tube because normally the tube is screwed into that top cap in there, and you can normally put your finger in and sort of wedge it and twist it to undo, which that obviously didn't work. So I tried a grip glove and that didn't work as well. So we've now cut a slot into this which allows me to apply a bit more leverage, and I don't know if you can see that. It now moves, the tube moves, the top cap is staying in place. So I've got it to move probably about 6 mil each way. Obviously it's lefty loosey, righty tighty. But so we turn it in the undo direction, and it gets sort of moves 6 mil. It completely stops, and then I don't know if you can see, what it's doing is it's opening up a gap here. This little trim panel is where the up and down buttons are. That's obviously, I presume, glued in as well, and it's opening up that gap there and opening up there when you try and undo the tube anymore. See, that's sort of quite opened up now, and then you can go back to doing it up, and obviously that's that it's done up, most done up. But I should be able to unscrew it. You know, like I say, it moves 6 mil, and it gets stuck. And you try and do it some more, and it starts opening up here and here. So not sure what's going on. I shall keep working at it, but whether they've glued this trim panel onto this, you know, and that was the last thing, which obviously is why it's then trying to rip that from that. God knows what they've done, but I'll persevere with it and see how I get on. Well, we know why it doesn't want to come apart. It's broken across where the resin section was, and it looks like they've soldered the negative wire to the battery tube rather than off of the proper contact points, and it was that was jamming against the cover plate here, which they obviously put in last and glued everything together. So the design basically was never going to come apart. It was once it was built, it was built. So I don't even know who makes this mod, but you know, if someone owns this mod and the board goes faulty and they need the board replacing or the screen replacing, the guy that makes this isn't going to repair the old mod. He's just going to have to bin it and make a new one. There's no way it comes apart without breaking it. I'm going to continue to try and get the tube out and see what sort of a mess we're left with, but I don't think that's going to be savable because of this weird, it's not weird, but it was just obviously they had infilled this small section in the burl with resin, sort of a goldy flake, and that is burls in woods and sections where they infill always weak points, so it was always going to break there. Glue is way stronger than a burl wood is, so I'll see what I can do. We'll carry on. Okay, we got inside. They had soldered, sorry, it's gone off camera. Dear me. Right. They had soldered the negative directly onto the tube rather than using the dedicated solder points up here. Which is that wire there. And the way the mod was built was this trim panel was the last thing to go in, which is glued in. It's glued to the battery tube and to the mod itself around the outside. The battery tube itself is glued in. I don't know if this will show up inside or not. It's really hard to hold the phone and kind of show it, but you can see the remains of the glue in there. There's nothing wrong with glue, but like I say, you've got to use the right sort of glue, and they've used a 2-part epoxy like this sort of thing, and you know, that dries like concrete and has absolutely no chance of it coming apart. It will just break whatever it's glued to. You can tell it's epoxy because it's brittle. But it's broke obviously this fraction off of here. I'm going to take these little switches out because they're coming apart anyway. Take the tube out, have a look, see if we can piece it back together, see what we can do. I really can't promise anything on this, but we'll give it our best shot.